Breaking news, everybody. It is Sportskeeda Wrestling top story of the day. What is going on with Fridays? Seems like Fridays we get a bunch of big news. A lot of big news in just this video today. Two major names in the WWE are set for a huge return right before SummerSlam. You haven't hit the like yet? All right, we have breaking news from SmackDown tonight. They're doing a Hell in a Cell on free television with less than 24 hours notice. Think about that. That's happening on free TV tonight. People say WWE doesn't keep you on your toes. You're getting a Hell in a Cell show on SmackDown. We're talking about it. Congratulations are in order for AEW. Great baby news from them. Oh, and we just got something. Someone from NXT is backstage at SmackDown right now. And we're going to talk about it in a little bit. Oh, this is just so much news today. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Let's get right into it. How is everyone doing? I am Kev Kelm. That is Mr. JB Huskers over there. Jeremy Bennett. Jeremy, so much to touch on today. If you haven't done already, go ahead and hit the like button. I can see how many of you are watching. If you have not subscribed yet, get into the comments, get into the flow, ride with us, okay? Ride with us on this thing here. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. You can also get these in your ears. We just dropped a exclusive on our audio and video channels with the WWE champion, Bobby Lashley. All right. The WWE champion, Bobby Lashley, spoke to us yesterday. We have clips of that coming out over the course of the weekend leading into Hell in a Cell. We also spoke with Drew McIntyre this week. Our very own Raju speaking with him. So that's right. The main event of Hell in a Cell is on Sportskeeda Wrestling. All right. Let's get into the news. Let's get right to it. If you haven't done it already, love seeing some great faces here. Jeff and Samuel, if you're with us for the first time, jump into the comments below. Tell us where you guys are watching from. Tell us, especially if you're watching for the first time. What's going on, Greg Mulkey? We got Kevin from Kentucky is with us. We got Mr. James Espanto Fernando. See? He gets a cool shout out. If you hang with us, you'll get a cool shout out. Let's jump into the big news. Edge and The Fiend are set for some major returns to WWE. This is a big story, Jeremy. This one kind of coming up today. We have a lot of news in just one day. So if you're watching early, do not give up on this. But
yeah,
Edge,
you don't get it right off into the weekend that easily, Kevin. You don't get it right off into that weekend so smoothly. No, not yet.
Edge and Bray Wyatt are set for big returns. This is coming from tip of the old cap to Mr. Sean Ross Sapp, Millennial Meltzer, as I've called him. He is saying that basically local advertising, this is kind of, we're getting back to the wrestling media cycle that we were used to before, when you would find out about wrestlers coming back from an injury when they're advertised locally for different live events. And usually this would come up to when people would be like, a marketing event or a sponsored meet and greet of some kind. And you would hear about those well before we knew a wrestler was being presented or advertised on television sometimes. So that is happening again. We have not seen Edge since he was stacked and pinned on top of Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania and the triple threat. Edge set for return before SummerSlam on SmackDown in the weeks before SummerSlam, August 21st. We're now learning that The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, is being advertised for the Monday Night Raw on August 9th. I could be going to the Monday Night Raw on August 2nd in Chicago. So this is a part of those 25 dates that WWE is really, really pushing as they get back out on the road in the United States in arenas coast to coast. This is a big move by WWE. Huge names. We heard a couple of days ago that WWE executive Stephanie McMahon on the record with Yahoo Finance saying they were going to do some big things before SummerSlam and at SummerSlam. This is before.
Yeah, obviously this is their WrestleMania. Obviously, you got a lot of people. You got a good amount of people in the crowd for WrestleMania this year in Tampa. But this is the WrestleMania. We're looking at what, 60, 70,000 people, right? We gotta. They're gonna make this the big show of the year. This is typically number 2, but this is going to be number 1 in their minds. So they need to get all the big guns they can get. We hear John Cena smirking, asking if he's going to show up, and he's sitting there being coy. We probably know the answer to that. But we gotta, the big attractions have to come back. We aren't going to get Brock Lesnar. So, it sounds like Lesnar's is not in the cards. So, we got to get Edge. We got to get Bray Wyatt. Everybody misses both of those guys. So it's going to be real interesting to see where they stack these guys up against for that big card.
You bring up Lesnar or Jamie texting in there as well. We have more than a few people. We also have Sean texting, and Shawn Mendes fan for life. I didn't know we were going to get any Shawn Mendes fans with us here tonight, but several people asking about Brock Lesnar. Now, there was some talk of Brock Lesnar being a part of this year's SummerSlam. There were some rumblings of it. It was in the cards. Now that has kind of cooled down. But you have Edge and Bray Wyatt. So you still have other big names. We are still hearing a lot about John Cena being a part of this year's SummerSlam in some way or another, and all signs point to him in some type of super mega collision with Roman Reigns. We'll get to Roman Reigns. We have some very, very big Roman Reigns news within this video as well that's kind of developing and is going to be on television tonight. We'll talk about that within the next few minutes. So a lot to get into. It's interesting that the stuff is cooled off about Brock. Yeah, I'm surprised here. Maybe WWE seeing, as we saw the talk of them doing maybe a return to the King of the Ring, maybe another Cyber Sunday in the later kind of quarter four time of 2021, when maybe there could be some cool off of, hey, WWE's back live. Let's do some cool things to get people to come back here, because they could be hitting some markets for the second time this year in 6 months. Yeah, so you be able to like sell tickets and move things. So it's getting back to normal. It's becoming a readjustment. I'm surprised that maybe Brock is being held off for something else, or maybe Brock just didn't like what was offered to him.
He might just want to stay home. He probably is fine financially. Sitting up in the farm in Canada, so maybe he just doesn't want to do anything quite yet.
We have someone texting here, Robert Smith, who has The Fiend as his avatar, so he must be liking the news today. Right. Yeah, if you know any Fiend or Edge fans, go ahead and tag them in this video. Let them know about this. Let's talk about this. Bray Wyatt comes back. What do you do with him on Raw? Where do you place him on Raw? You're going to have to create something new. I don't think you can do him and Randy Orton again. Are you going to have him terrorize Alexa? Are you going to have a man terrorize a woman? They've done stuff with them before. They've gone full tilt. They've been almost an angle now for a year. But Bray Wyatt is a unique character that doesn't have to wrestle a whole lot to be a character on television, does he?
No. And, I think there probably should be some sort of tie-in with Alexa Bliss. I wouldn't be surprised by then if she's champion. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this Sunday. I fully expect Charlotte to win on Sunday against Rhea Ripley. I want to think maybe Nikki Cross is in that mix, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do put that title on Alexa soon and then incorporate the Fiend somehow. I don't know who would really be a feud that makes sense right now on Raw. It's hard to tell with the way things are going right now. There just doesn't seem like a good fit for the Fiend right now. So maybe it is something tying in with Alexa, especially if she's in that championship picture going down into SummerSlam.
You got to. She cost him a match at WrestleMania. Yeah. All right, she interfered with her big Jack in the Box and her Rudy Giuliani hair goop that came out of her head. Right, so she's got to do something. Like there's some comeuppance have to happen. You know what I mean? Some comeuppance have to happen. And I've heard all of the Bray Wyatt fans who are into horror and comic booky, they're in that Venn diagram of wrestling. They all want to see a Sister Abigail destroy her, is what they want. I've heard some people theorize and all those different things, so we'll see what happens here. What do you do with Edge on SmackDown? Does Edge go right for Roman Reigns? Is he back? Is he back in the title picture? Is there somebody else who can cut him off and make this thing personal? I think a personal feud with Edge at this point in his career, not chasing a title, could be a little bit more compelling. And he's already shown that he can cut those promos like he did with Randy Orton in his big comeback that are really thrilling and really go under the skin. I think he could create something special with somebody like that.
Yeah, I don't. That's another thing. It's kind of weird. These guys that are, gone for a while, you don't know where you're going to place them. There's not with John Cena coming back. Oh yeah, Roman Reigns, piece of cake. There's not a locked in type of deal. I mean, if Daniel Bryan was still around, it'd be a great one-on-one dream match with Edge and Daniel Bryan, but he's no longer on SmackDown, and we don't know what his WWE status is right now, to be honest. So it's interesting because there's not really a concrete, this is the way they should go with either one of those guys, to be honest.
It isn't clear, and we'll find out more in the weeks ahead here. I would love to go into more depth of this, but we have a lot of news to cover here today. We just dropped it on the ticker there on the bottom. We have huge news coming out of SmackDown tonight. This may be one of the more interesting SmackDowns we've seen in some time, at least until we get to that big SmackDown that's going to drop in July when WWE, that'll be the first time you see WWE in front of a live audience, like a full arena live audience in about almost a year and a half. That will be a very, very special show just because of the circumstances. And people are expecting a lot of things on that. Now, I do think there was a sense in WWE television on Raw and SmackDown, though things are starting to become very exciting again. I do. We had the releases and some bad mojo with that, but I do feel like fans were feeling like a sense of looking past this weekend of Hell in a Cell towards Money in the Bank, towards SummerSlam. Like they were looking past it. So how does WWE want to flip that conversation and center people on what they're doing now while still getting people to anticipate something else? They've taken a Hell in a Cell match off of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and have put it on free television. Free television. This happened within the last 24 hours. It was announced on WWE.com by WWE. I had to reread the article. I had to double check with you before we even went live today because I was like, are they just doing a match? Rey Mysterio says he can't wait until Sunday and needs Roman Reigns and needs to get revenge for his son who was powerbombed out of the ring. And they're doing a Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown tonight.
I'm baffled because what are they going to do? Are they going to add a Hell in a Cell match? Are they maybe they add Cesaro and Seth Rollins because that is a Hell in a Cell worthy feud in my opinion. Maybe they add that to replace it, or you know what is? It's just weird that all of a sudden they kind of pull the plug of this from the pay-per-view. Literally 3 days until the pay-per-view and then put it on free TV. Have we had a Hell in a Cell match on a Raw or SmackDown ever before? I can't remember.
And I don't think we have. We also have news here that Karrion Kross is backstage at SmackDown. We don't know why. We just learned of that right before we went live here, and then he is not alone and Scarlett is with him. We don't know any more about that story. So before anyone is asking, we just don't know. There's just so much happening here. So if anyone's asking why we were running that ticker, it's because that story happened literally as we went live, and we want to make sure we were covered on it here.
Yeah, does he show up after the match tonight?
Does he present himself on SmackDown in some way?
Yeah,
we've seen people that are active characters on NXT show up and still. Kevin Owens, the first time you saw him on Raw, he was still the NXT champion. So I mean, this isn't out of the question for this to happen here. So a lot of people. Talking about why they're doing this. We have Rey Mysterio in the ring tonight. Huge superstar, huge crossover superstar. I don't think his beloved standing with fans has changed, but he's taking on the biggest heel in the business, the hottest hand that WWE has right now, and Roman Reigns. I think we're getting more of an angle tonight with the Cell. I mean, it's already at the Yingling Center. They already have it set up. So I guess the idea is to really pitch something on free television and this may upset some people, on their A show. SmackDown is the most watched show in all of professional wrestling. All right. Sorry if you're a fan of NXT or AEW, or maybe your routine lends yourself more to Raw Monday nights. This is the most watched show in professional wrestling. WWE wants to do something big. They really want to motivate people to pay attention to their programming right before pay-per-view this Sunday on NBC Universal's Peacock streaming service. So this is going to air on Fox Television. And this is an issue here. Matt Men, Andrew Zarian. We were supposed to have him on Inside Cradle this week, but we had to reschedule and stuff like that. He's saying from sources he knows that people at USA Network not happy to find out that a Hell in a Cell match, a big presentation, a big structure that has sold pay-per-views for many a year, is now being presented on the other TV partner of WWE. So a little bit of an issue there, a little bit of a problem there.
There are so many wrinkles in this story, and maybe it is a network thing saying, like, I'd mentioned before we got on there. Yeah, Fox kind of wants a little of that shine, or it's just Vince just kind of uprooting things and just changing plans. Maybe he fast tracks Karrion Kross, and they don't. And the feud between Cena and Roman isn't for the title, because that rumored match really doesn't need a title involved to have a big feud for SummerSlam. I find it a little odd that they would fast track Kross that quickly, but at the same time, he's kind of that prototypical guy that Vince really likes, and there's a lot of mystique to him, and and of course the size that Vince prefers. So maybe Vince caught his eye on TakeOver and saw how much he was dominating those other four guys in that main event and said, I want him right now, pal.
Pal, come on, pal.
Come on, pal.
Pronouns, pal.
Give him to me, pal.
Yeah, but this is certainly like a very interesting SmackDown tonight. Like if you're not watching this live, you may want to avoid the spoilers. Like, because and like when you can say that about a wrestling show before it airs, that's always a good sign, man. That's always something interesting.
Where does it leave us for Sunday? I mean, there was only 5 announced matches as it was. Now there's only 4 announced matches on the pay-per-view.
Yes, the Hell in a Cell is this Sunday on pay-per-view. If you have not seen it yet, we talked to Bobby Lashley this week. We had an in-depth interview with him. We've put out about half of that. If you are a podcast subscriber, go do that, because I'm going to drop the full uncut interview there in one chunk this weekend at some point. But definitely, if you can't wait, the video version is up now on our Facebook. Shout out to Myron watching in Australia. Shout out to people watching in Virginia. Shout out to people watching in Louisville, Kentucky, all around the world, checking out Sportskeeda. Sportskeeda, the worldwide leader. I just wanted to say that. It's ridiculous. If you guys haven't done it, go ahead and subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can see the buttons down there. You see them. You're seeing them, okay? And all you have to do is hit the like keys, all right? I know a lot of you guys watch us on Facebook. Check out our YouTube. We have a ton of content there as well. Also, a big thing that I'm a fan of, and a few people have done it, is putting the Sportskeeda top story of the day, all the Sportskeeda video content on a television through the YouTube app. All right, and putting us on the TV while you run around doing whatever. Don't have to put on the news. Sometimes the news is depressing, like actual news, not wrestling news, you know. And some people have sent me pictures of it. That's pretty cool. So if you guys do that, send me pictures of it on Twitter at Kev Kellum. I am on Instagram. People ask me about Instagram. I have an Instagram. It's Kev Kellum 6, but I had to reboot my Instagram, so I don't really have much there though. But I'm a big fan of that here. So we have Karrion Kross back. We have all this different news. We do have some positive news. We have some happy baby news in wrestling. This is good. Cody and Brandy Rhodes have welcomed a brand new baby girl into the world. We have some great baby news earlier this week with Jon Moxley and Renee Paquette. Congratulations to them. What's the baby news? Give me the baby report. What's going on?
We got 6 pounds, 12 ounces, Liberty Iris Runnels. And Cody
says... We got a cruiserweight. So, I mean...
Just under the 205, yeah.
Just under the 205.
Cody says mommy and daughter are doing wonderful. And, you know, we have a future tag team now on our hands with Mox and Rhodes. So
I know immediately people starting to make that comparison there. Not much to dig into. Just congratulations to them. Yep. It's a wonderful thing. It is a good thing for these people working hard in their lives to have that happiness. It has seemingly affected a little bit of the career of Cody. He's doing, I mean, you're seeing him on television. He still did big pay-per-views. He was still part of Double or Nothing. He still had a presence on television, but it didn't seem like he was there every single week. Now, obviously, he's involved with everything going on with AEW as an EVP and doing a whole lot of different things here. And Brandy still has her brand ambassador role, still involved in the full management of this company here. So I wonder what their future holds, but congratulations for them. You know, people can do this. People can have lives and have kids. This happens. Anyone says, well, this is going to affect him. He's not going to be able to shut up. Just come on. You have a brother or sister who has kids. Maybe you don't have kids. I don't have kids.
I don't have kids. No.
I'm a child. Babies shouldn't have babies. All right. I've been told that before.
There you go.
Congratulations to them. Tony Kahn, AEW president Tony Kahn. He is on quite the roll recently. Did an article with Forbes revealing the company is in some debt, but they are in a forward momentum in general. They do have this new TV show rolling out by the end of the year called Rampage. They will shift their programming from Warner Media's TNT to TBS, which will put them in more homes. TBS is on more cable systems. Things are looking good. Just announced a big return to the New York market. They'll be playing New York, New Jersey. And then a week later, they're going to play to 17,000 people, potentially, maybe the biggest house they've played to just yet, at the Arthur Ashe Tennis Stadium in Queens, New York, literally in the shadows of New York City. Big times for them. He's revealed some things about what it took to get them through the pandemic recently, saying he didn't want to follow the same cues as the WWE. What's the latest here, Jeremy?
Yeah, he had done an interview with UPI recently and basically said early in the pandemic he wanted to create an experience of a drive-in movie and the fans make for a better product. So when they were finally able to sell seats again in Florida, he did that, which was basically in the early stages, I believe 500 maybe 500 fans, and they were kind of not close. They were kind of far back. And then it just gradually kind of grew from there. And then at the same time have wrestlers alongside. You had your heel side and you had your babyface side on each side of the ring. And so that kind of added to the atmosphere. Tony had said that they were he didn't want to do a video wall, but I was actually he
didn't want a Thunderdome.
Yeah, he didn't want a Thunderdome. The idea was pushed to him, but he pushed back and said it was a fine idea. WWE did it, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of find a way to do shows for the fans every week, and the fans at Daily's Place supported us. It's like we built our own wrestling territory during the pandemic, and having a weekly audience. He said he was really proud of what they did.
Yeah, I would say they absolutely built their own territory, but you've been in the same town for a year and a half. And I can tell you from talking to some comedy friends I have down in Florida that there were just some times where like, yeah, we could go to Dynamite, but we're going to wait until they have pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Or I've already been to like 4 or 5 of them and, that type of thing. So, I mean, there's no way you don't logistically burn the territory from just running there. But I don't hold that against him. It's just logistics. Like no one could go on the road. You couldn't do these type of things. Now there's a lot of people vaccinated, or at least there's enough people vaccinated that people are going to go and do this. There will be upticks in cases of COVID-19 this year. That's expected. Just some more people going out and people not being vaccinated. I'm not speaking for Sportskeeda or anyone else here. Go get your shots. Go do your thing. And if you're not going to do your thing, get tested a whole lot. You know what I mean? Just this, you don't want to get a shot. That's fine. Just go get a test and don't endanger other people. I think we can all operate like that and figure this thing out without getting into some flame war comment online about computer chips in your arm and Bill Gates and conspiracy theories.
Well, while you're holding one of these in your pocket.
Yeah. I don't want to be tracked at all, but let me tweet and put it out on Facebook. All right. And then, I like that Google knows what I like to search before I search it.
It's amazing how the news is tailored to me.
Yeah. Oh my God. I like wrestling, so that I find out about wrestling stuff on my Google before I even Google it. Yeah. So calm down there, pal. So thank you guys so much for checking out what we're doing. A lot to get into this weekend. We just dropped a really cool Hell in a Cell pay-per-view preview. We have one from Inside Cradle last night. We did 90 minutes of content, including some of that Bobby Lashley interview. That is with Rick Ucchino and myself. Sid was on today as well with a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view preview that you can check out. We have hours of content. I think we produced in this 1 week more than 11 hours of audio and video for you guys to consume, and it is all for free. So the only thing I ask you to do if you're watching is to hit the like button. Just hit the like button, subscribe, check out our stuff wherever it works for you. If you haven't done already, go ahead and check out our podcast as well. Available on Spotify. Just search Sportskeeda Wrestling. And also, I know we were making fun of phones and different things like that. We do have our own app. All right. We do have the Sportskeeda app, which you can get general sports news. And then we also have a Sportskeeda Wrestling app, which focuses exclusively on pro wrestling. You can search for both. They are available in the Apple and Google Play Store. Mr. James Espanto Fernando. Look at this. This guy's giving out Twitter plugs on the screen here.
And if you notice there, you got a request to appear in Charlotte as well. So
Charlotte, North Carolina. North Carolina, don't do anything. Anytime anyone brings up North Carolina, I got to do some PD Pablo. I have to.
Yep, always.
All right. Yes. People asking about all these different things. Yes, I do have some live comedy shows coming up. I will be at Zanies, the world famous Zanies Comedy Club, right off North and Wells, in the north side of Chicago, June 30th. I will be at Riddle's Comedy Club that last Monday of June as well. And the 4th of July weekend, July 1st and 2nd, I will be at the Comedy Shrine in Aurora, Illinois. Beautiful. It's a comedy museum with a comedy club.
That's cool. What all do they have there in the shrine?
Oh, dude, the Comedy Shrine is awesome. I've performed there before. This is their new venue. They moved inside the Fox Valley Mall in Aurora. They have life-size Simpsons, like statues, life-size Simpson statues. They have like almost they have memorabilia from almost every major comedy TV show, everything. It's like nice. It's all comedy stuff. It's like every little like merchandise item from Saturday Night Live, like everything that you would want to see in one place. It's very, very cool. If you like going and taking pictures of people's collectibles, this is the thing. And then I'm doing a live comedy show with Jamie Salmon. So we have 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows on Saturday. It's July 1st and 2nd. Comedy Shrine. Just Google that. The Comedy Shrine, Aurora, Illinois. If you're coming through, I'll be doing a lot of shows, playing 3 different clubs that week in one city. So it's pretty sweet. Times are good. You know, get your, well, it's in, get your shots. That's all I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Lori, thank you guys so much. Enjoy tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed our videos. I really genuinely think that a lot of people spend time with us and our content, and I don't take that for granted. There's a ton of different things you can spend time with on the internet, and the fact that you do it with us is something I really appreciate. You are busy with your own podcasting ventures, correct?
I am. I co-host Lost in the Mid-Card. We've been going for 6.5 strong years. We are
hell yeah, brother.
We're approaching episode 300. Episode 291 just dropped yesterday. So any Spotify, iTunes, any podcasting app, search for Lost in the Mid-Card. We also have a video version on the YouTube. We would appreciate if you head over to YouTube, search for Lost in the Mid-Card, give us a subscribe ski there too. We would appreciate it. And a good buddy of ours put together a website for us to put all of our links together, so you can go to litmcpodcast.com. Everything's there, and you can follow me on the Twitter at JB Huskers.
We will be live tonight following SmackDown, a big one with a Hell in a Cell match. Dirty Dutch Mantel and his long mustache. We will sit under the wise wrestling wizard tree that he has set for us and learn so much more. We will have story time with him too.
We had some good. I was on the show last week with Sid, and man, we had some good stories with Steve Austin, Bret Hart, some good stuff with Dutch. So it's always good to tune in after SmackDown.
That will be tonight. So if you're watching SmackDown on delay, maybe that can complement your Saturday afternoon. That'll be my Saturday morning. Instead of cartoons, I'll have some SmackDown. I'll have some Smack Talk. It'll be good. All right. And once again, if you haven't done it already, go ahead and get the podcast, get all of our shows on there and a whole lot more. 5 days a week, we do this top story of the day right around 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. Keep your notifications on if you want to join us in the chat. And remember, when watching wrestling, do the most important thing. Jeremy from Nebraska, I got to ask you, what do you do when you watch wrestling?
You enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you.
Get your shit in, Dad.